in terms of the outline of the talk, what I'm going to be doing is going to go through the Diamond-Mortensen-Pissarides model. And when I say through, I'm going to sketch it, give you a skeletal look at it. I think what we'll see from the use of the model, what the model is going to be useful for us is it's going to take, it's the essence of what's great about economics. You take verbal explanations that are floating around and you quantify them and codify them in a way that we can actually use. And that's what, how I'm going to use this Diamond-Mortensen-Pissarides framework. Then I'll apply the model to the information that's available in the unemployment and vacancies data. I'll turn to other sources of information, and then I'll wrap it with some conclusions. So here's how the Diamond-Mortensen-Pissarides model works. The main decision maker in the model is a firm. And the firm pays a cost, K, makes a decision about whether to pay a cost, K, to create a job opening, to create a vacancy. What are this cost supposed to be? It's the cost of thinking about what is this worker going to be doing for the firm, formulating the tasks, formulating the committee to think about who that worker is going to be, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. With some probability, so once you create the vacancy as a firm, there's a probability of attracting a qualified applicant for the firm. Once you attract that qualified applicant, the firm and the applicant then bargain over the wage. So that's the way the model works. You create a vacancy, you hope the vacancy attracts a qualified applicant, and then you bargain with that qualified applicant when they show up. The key model variable is the ratio U over V. Now, what is U, what is V? U is the unemployment rate, and V is the vacancy rate. So as I've mentioned before, it's the number of job openings divided by the number of people employed in the country. There's two reasons this variable is important in the model. Inside the model, a firm is more likely to attract a qualified applicant. So I said a vacancy has some likelihood of attracting a qualified applicant. The firm is more likely to attract a qualified applicant if this ratio is high. Why does that make sense? Well, there's a lot of unemployed people out there. It's more likely that any given job opening you post is going to be able to attract a qualified applicant. And that's captured in the model. As well, there's a secondary force in the model, which is that when unemployment is high relative to the number of job openings, workers are more willing to accept lower wages. And so for both those reasons, this variable, the ratio of unemployment to vacancies, is very important in the model. Now here's what I'm going to use the model for. I told you the firm pays a cost K to create a vacancy. The model delivers a slick formula for the firm's benefit from that vacancy. It's very intuitive and very clear, given very easy to use. And here's the approximate formula. It's that U over V ratio times P minus Z. And I'll have to tell you what P minus Z is in a moment, times some constant term you don't need to worry about. If you're used to working with this model, and actually this version of the formula might not be familiar to you, it's an approximation that works well for standard parameterizations. And I have some technical notes online that if you want to see how you get to this formula. So what are the definition of terms in this? P is the worker's expected productivity at the job. And here I want to emphasize net of taxes. Okay? So the firm and the worker are concerned about how productive is the worker going to be net of the taxes the government is going to be taking away from that worker and from that firm. Z is the worker's flow benefits of not working. And the benefit I'm going to be emphasizing the most is when you're not working and you're unemployed, you'll be able to collect unemployment insurance benefits. But there are other benefits as well of not being at work. So those are the definitions. So the P, so here's the formula again. I'm so bad at this laser thing. There's U over V. So let's first talk about why is this the right sign? What's the intuition for the formula? Remember, this is the benefits of the benefit of the firm of creating a job. So they pay the cost K. Why do they pay the cost K? It's in order to get this, to create a vacancy. They pay that cost K in order to get these benefits. This rises as U over V rises for two reasons. First, when you create a vacancy, when unemployment, there's a lot of unemployed people relative to the job openings, you're more likely to attract a qualified applicant. And so your benefits of job creation are higher when unemployment is high relative to the number of vacancies in the economy. Second, the applicants are more willing to accept a lower wage. And so the firm is going to get a bigger share of that productivity that the worker is able to generate when in times where there are more unemployed people relative to vacancies. Now, why is it rise as P rises? Well, as the workers generate more output, the job is more valuable, and so there's more benefits to the firm to creating that job. At the same time, this is a little less intuitive. If you go back to the formula, there's P minus Z. So as Z goes up, the benefits of not working go up to the worker. Then P minus Z is going to fall, and the benefits of job creation for the firm are going to fall. Why is that? Well, it's because the firm is going to, if the worker is getting a lot of benefits from not working, the firm needs to pay a higher wage to attract that worker to work. And so that's why the benefits of job creation go down for the firm if Z is high. Now, why is the model useful? It's because this formula highlights the puzzle, what appears to be a puzzling lack of job creation in the United States right now. We can now take the data, and the data is going to be, we got in December of 2007, the unemployment rate was 5%. This is before the recession started, or right at the beginning of the recession. And the vacancy rate from the job openings and labor turnover survey data was 3.1%. 3 years later, in December of 2010, the unemployment rate was considerably higher, 9.4%, and the vacancy rate was 2.3%. The ratio of U over V is 2.5 times higher in December of 2010. So if you go back to our formula here, it's U over V times P minus Z. U over V, that unemployment to vacancy ratio, has gone up by 2.5 times in 3 years. The benefits of creating a job seem to have risen enormously, whereas the costs have probably not changed at all. So the question is, why aren't firms creating jobs given these large benefits that appear to be available to them? And it's answering this question, sorting through the answer to this question, that will lead us to U star. That is the natural rate of unemployment.